Dear friends, I hope that everything is well with you, and I hope that my message today finds you happy and healthy. Um, I have a very important message to share today, and it's from a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. And it's about injustice. And he said, whatever injustice affects one directly, affects all indirectly. Now, I made a video some time back about the Human Rights Tribunal and encouraged our community to make a group claim. I also encouraged our community to be witnesses at each other's claim. We all have different matters, but we all share the same injustice from the Watchtower, and that is a common thread. So, as I mentioned, a famous quote by Martin Luther King Jr. about injustice is injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. This quote emphasizes that injustice in one place affects the pursuit of justice in all places. So, highlighting the interconnectedness of humanity, he further elaborated on this idea by stating, "We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly." So this is a most important message. Our community shares a mutual injustice from the Watchtower. The need for our community to unify in our claims as a group is vital. So in order for our voices to be heard by governments, in order for them to prosecute violations of human rights criminally, we need to be united and reach out to people like Kash Patel, for example, and governors of states. And stronger than even a written petition would be a video petition with our name on the video. We have a great number of former Jehovah's Witnesses in our community with videos of our stories and interviews. We can make a video with a message to our politicians, asking them to open human rights claims to criminal investigations and criminal claims in every state, in every province, and in every country. The International Human Rights Commission, also known as IHRC, is an intergovernmental organization that focuses on diplomacy, human rights, and conflict resolution. The IHRC aims to build peace, resolve conflicts, and strengthen international cooperation, particularly in areas of human rights and humanitarian aid. We can make a united group claim to the IHRC, the International Human Rights Community. But wouldn't it be better if this Human Rights Commission or Human Rights Tribunal was available in every state, in every province, in every country, uh, instead of having to go to the International Human Rights Commission? However, even that is an option until we can get governments to listen to our voices. So we are all victims of, for example, in our community, of elders handling of the judicial hearing in an unscriptural manner. When counseling his fellow worker Timothy as to how he should deal with problems in Ephesus, where some were stirring up fruitless discussions and contradictory um, teachings, the Apostle Paul included these words: reprove before all onlookers persons who practice sin, that the rest also may have fear. So today, elders, so anyway, what did this mean? This meant that the entire congregation should be present to witness reproving. So when did elders start reproving behind closed doors? And how is that scriptural? It is not scriptural, but it certainly gives them all the power and control, and to keep those being reproved from the rest of the congregation. This gives elders the power of judge and jury, and does not protect the congregation from those committing sins. In the world, uh, we call it the world, a court hearing is a public hearing, so that all may have the opportunity to see and hear all the testimony and be able to judge for themselves. The accused has the right to be represented and to bring witnesses. In congregations, those reproving are often friends of those being reproved, which makes for bias. In worldly courts, it would be considered a conflict of interest if a judge knew the accused. That in itself would be reason enough to throw the case out of court. So Watchtower judicial hearings are neither scriptural nor by secular laws, which makes them all illegal, should be thrown out, and none of it is even scriptural. They only serve their own masters, which is the governing body, and they have multitudes of reasons that they want to keep everything behind closed doors and away from all the rest of the congregation, which makes the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses very gullible. Because in the scriptures, does it not say persons who practice sin? So what about pedophiles? Do they not practice sin? The first Christians included the entire congregation on what we would call a judicial hearing. When and why has that changed, and why have all Jehovah's Witnesses accepted or adopted this practice of only the elders having, the power of this judicial hearing that should be in front of the entire congregation? And so this is the reason that we are having such a difficult time in those that have been disfellowshipped, or those that have appeared in front of this judicial hearing, because most of us did not even practice sin, and yet it would have been justice for us to have our case heard by the entire congregation. Imagine if that were the practice, how much injustice would not, would not have escaped the congregation. So this practice, why is that accepted and adapted? Well, the answer is whatever the governing body tells the elders to do, they do, even if it contradicts the scriptures. And as you know, if anyone brings it up to the elders or the governing body about the scriptures being contradicted, they are treated all of a sudden as an apostate. So I mentioned in previous videos that I'm taking the elders of two congregations and the Canadian branch to the Human Rights Tribunal in British Columbia, Canada. But we are all victims of human rights violations by the Watchtower and the elders. So I'm suggesting and hoping that we unite and be witnesses for those of us who take the Watchtower and elders to court. Uh, Another example from the scriptures that is not being used by elders or the governing body is about the two witness rule. And we know the account in Deuteronomy 22, 25 to 27. Okay, and it's about, is not primarily about proving the man's guilt, because that was acknowledged. This law focuses on establishing the woman's innocence. So in these verses in Deuteronomy, it speaks about the man who had sex with an engaged woman in the city. And in doing that, he was guilty of adultery. And then it brings out that since the woman did not scream for help in the city, if she had done so, others would certainly have heard her and would have defended her. But she did not scream, and so she was sharing in the adultery. And as a result, she was judged guilty. But there's also the account of the girl that was raped in the field. Okay, so this is a completely different situation. And so if this is the situation, if the man happened to meet the engaged girl in the field and overpowered her and lay down with her, the man who lay down with her is to die by himself. And you must do nothing to the girl. The girl has not committed a sin deserving death. This case is the same as when a man attacks his fellow man and murders him. For he happened to meet her in the field and engaged girl screamed, but there was no one to rescue her. This is in Deuteronomy 22, 25 to 27. So in that case, the woman was given the benefit of the doubt. In what sense? It was assumed that she screamed, but there was no one to rescue her. So she was not committing adultery. The man, however, was guilty of rape and adultery because he overpowered her and lay down with her. So even though this law focuses on the woman's innocence, the account rightly describes the man as guilty of rape and adultery. So we can be confident that the judges investigate the matter thoroughly and render a decision in line with the standard that God has set out plainly and repeatedly. This is in Deuteronomy 13:14, 17:4, and Exodus 20:14. Why did Jackson, a governing body member, not willingly offer these scriptures to the lawyer Angus at the Australian Royal Commission? When asked why was the rape of a woman in the scriptures not applied to children being sexually abused and or raped? So why would they need two witnesses? What was Jackson's reply to this question? He blamed Jesus, as if Jesus was to blame for the scriptures in Matthew. The scriptures in Matthew about two witnesses apply to a completely different matter. And he knows that. And so does the entire governing body and all of the elders. There's an article in, it's about the two witness rule, and it's an open letter, and it's in avoid JW.org. So this matter is very well covered. This article covers this matter very well, and I will include the link of this article below in this video. So I will continue with my message, which is to unify our community in our united human rights claim. And I hope that you will join me. Uh, and that way we can have a much better chance uh, to make our to have our make our voices heard by those who have the power to change the laws, and so that we can hold all of these criminals accountable for such harm that they're doing and continuing to do. So until next time, my friends, all the best to you, and God bless.